Alright, so here's my quick thoughts on Cascade. Be honest with you, I haven't touched this map in at least like 5 to 6 months in like a serious format, and it was the old version, RC1, which didn't have all these Yukon-esque textures and shit. But for the most part, from what I've seen and played in preseason scrims, pugs, like the map pretty much flows the exact same. The heart and soul of how you should play the map, I think still holds true. And let's jump right into it. So, like, I think one of the biggest changes that I think people are just doing more is they're just kind of defaulting towards going concrete. The rollout's like, I guess, much simpler for a demo. You get the pack right there, and then you immediately can just start playing off there. When you get whipped by your soldier, it's more of a seamless transition to go under as well, which was always a really preferred method to play out mids for heavies, even in the old version. You have to play it a bit differently though, because on the old version, the rollout was on the left, and then like right when you got to about here, you had to take your whip, get buffed early, and then get whipped towards main, and there used to be like a little entrance that kind of went like this, but the geometry of the map's different now, so it's different. If you were to do that, I think you would be slower compared to just rolling out concrete. But having said that, I think this is just for any team, any idea for you guys. You don't have to go concrete every single time. I see every team, like, from demos of other mentees, from, just like watching games and scrims and shit. Like, everyone just goes concrete. What's so good about concrete? I think it's dog shit, personally. Like, it's just like, it's safer now. Like, they added more cover for you to walk up, and it's a viable entrance for sure. But to go there every single life, every single time you don't have points, every mid, like, I watched like a couple scrims, and like really no other team like even attempted a rollout where like they went left, and like like the demo got this pack, people went waterfall, nothing like that. I'll tell you right now, if you want one spicy tip for your a lower level team, just go left. I swear to God, you send your soldier into cave, and they just spam out the combo that will just inevitably just like chill on ramp, because obviously they're gonna go concrete. You have your sniper with a buff playing here, or it's even more seamless for him if you roll it left to actually get the buff. And then now look at that, now he's way quicker to actually be in these advantageous positions on bats, whereas like if you were to roll out right side, he has to either like get his buff and like make some awkward jumps to finally get into that position, or he just has to roll out a different way without a buff. So, like, again, I missed my scrims because I was feeling sick this weekend, and when I watched some of the VODs of my team, again, they kind of just botted out and didn't think about how to really play the map. But if you've played Cascade in older versions, you know that like concrete is pretty bad, all things considered. You have a good sight line, like an old Cascade. This forklift sight line used to be really good, so you'd sometimes go there to set up your sniper. But overall, left was better, and I'm of the opinion that I think left seems better to me on paper, at least from just my experience of the past. So that's just some general map thoughts. Playing the game wise, I'm not one to really talk about like if this map's better than Lakeside, whatever. I don't know. I just play the game, man. Whatever's given to me, I play. But anyway, more often likely than not, you're probably like just knowing how teams like to want to play the map, I guess. You're gonna get whipped out on concrete. You're gonna come here. I'm gonna tell you right now, when you play a mid on Cascade, you have to commit. like you can't be like fumbling here and like waiting for people to bomb, waiting for like them to come to you. The team that aggresses from the most from the most angles will win, you know? So from concrete, your best goal is to get whipped. You want to try to like strafe into this ramp and see if you can meet their heavy soldier that might be doing the same. And if they don't, you want to try to get up as quick as you can. Up their ramp, right into them that way. That's probably the most viable way that you're going to be looking to play your mids. I disagree with playing more so on main, because like this is more so like your demos territory, pyro, what have you. They're all going to be kind of like lingering kind of around this area, and if you're just going to be another body here, you're probably just going to eat the same spam and not really do as much. I think under's going to be your best avenue if you go concrete, and maybe if you want to mix it up, you can maybe try to push the right side of points. I remember an old map talk from, I think it was Jarrett who said it when he was explaining Cascade. Really spoke to me a lot, where like you have a lot of great avenues to push. 3 main ways towards the points: under, waterfall. Now there's this new added catwalk, which I also like as well. You can really get some high ground, and like if say you don't have points, for example, this is a pretty good avenue yourself as well if you want to try to go for a walk that way. You have all these avenues on this map, and as a team, your goal is to utilize these avenues, and in the sense of a death ball where they kind of go all at the same time, you're death balling but just going from different avenues. And that might sound silly, but that's I'm telling you, that's the best way to do it. The skybox is high. You want your soldier to bomb. You want people to flood main, flood left. If you're under, you rush under, and if you guys all go at the same time, you're gonna roll them. And the team that can do that first wins on Cascade. Good. You got this thing for Spy too. Like Spy can make this jump, and he can get behind. Really good Spy map in general, because this is just like a Spy's playground. He's got sight lines. He's got packs to work with all around. So your Spy can get behind. People can go their waterfall even. Like a lot of good avenues for flanking. So for you as a heavy, you want to abuse the fact that you're always really good at abusing tunnels and lowers and stuff like that. So if you're gonna go concrete, I would recommend that to go under. And if they catch on, I think it's fine. Even if you commit, like you're hopefully averting enough eyes to look lower and not towards main point that your scout demo can make room, can make their room and make their space while you're kind of just doing your own thing lower, you know? Like, even if they try to meet you, if you guys are in sync, in theory, like if you're walking and, you know, they're trying to fight you, they're trying to like fight you off, they're just ADing here, oh god, the heavy's coming. Like, you're kind of, you're averting eyes, so you're kind of doing your job. So I still think lowers the play if you're gonna go concrete, and inevitably, like, you're gonna have a concrete mid. You're probably gonna roll out concrete. It is what it is. But to note, if you were to go left, you actually have a couple more options. That being one, you can go waterfall, and then with your soldier can bomb from the high ground, and you can immediately engage their combo. That wouldn't be ready to deal with you. The left side of point gives you a little bit more cover from the sniper that maybe bats in general, because the sight line's blocked off here. And again, from what I've seen, even this cat's pretty good. From what I've seen as well. So yeah, try to get your timing down. Try to walk across at the same time as your team, and don't all go the same way. And if you can afford to, make it known that you want to go a certain way, and then hopefully like people can kind of spread out and make their space another way. So what else? So okay, so let's say we capped. There's a couple things that we used to do on MTS and MM, or no, it was just MM actually, because Lakeside was the MTS map. But first things first that you can do is you want to lock down concrete, and you want to lock down all these chokes. Now in this newer version, the high ground isn't as apparent, but still you have pretty good high ground on point. So two things that you can do is you can either play on these rocks, which gives you more cover from sniper, because you have this chicken wire to kind of hide behind. You're in a prime position to meet them if they go concrete, worse if they go right side. But once again, from what I've seen, every team just kind of bots out concrete. So for like lower levels, I think this is probably your default. Maybe this is a good starting point just to kind of feel out what kind of team you're playing against. So when they inevitably try to push concrete, now you'll be in a great position to actively meet them. And if you do enough damage, I could even go as far to see that you can even commit for the kills, and you even have a neat little head glitch here now if you want to really get aggressive and meet them forward. While you do this, I think the goal is to stuff concrete, so your demo should also be kind of supporting you and putting spam out. And you know, if you have enough damage and they're backing up, I think it's completely fine to actively meet them as a combo. Again, just some things to note is the sniper bats is always going to be feeding for you guys. You should have good spy, similar to that if you were to forward hold on product, you want good sniper comms from your spy, and your spy should be able to provide that with how much room he's giving you and how much vision he has. Another thing to consider is you can have your soldier up top here to do more spam, more active spam on the sniper, and like if he bombs, say like he bombs here and he gets to follow up on the damage or even kill sniper, like that's really good. Otherwise, if you know, you have your sniper with you, you can also go for a forward hold on the right side, which used to be meta. Used to have a mini sentry here, wrangled with the sniper kind of sitting in it, and now you kind of have a forward position for your sniper to actively take shots onto their combo. While you're kind of bodyguarding him, you know, looking out for spy, waterfall, angles like that. I've seen people get sniped a lot by the sniper who will just hard scope and kind of peek you like this, so that's something to worry about. You kind of have to play footsies with him a bit. You have some good mobility on this rock itself and kind of freely move around. If you do get pushed, I think you have a good avenue to get out with the fists. And if you want to immediately try to get under this way, you can kind of work off this pack. And now there's two things. You can either like kind of play out for the post if they ended on your side, and now you can come up your side and kind of meet them. Or, you know, at this point, like, I don't know, at worst, maybe your med died, you need to go for a sack. Now you're in a prime position to recommit. So I was always more of a fan of holding these right rocks, but it's definitely more dangerous. You're definitely more of a target, so do be careful. Yeah, you can still make that jump too as well. I think that's like, these rocks used to be lower, so it was easier to kind of like parkour and kind of get out that way, but it looks like you can still do it all the same. So in theory, you can probably eat a headshot and not die. So like, you eat your headshot and then like, oh, that's your cue to back up. Like, yeah, fuck it, just it's kind of hard to actually still. I know they added the snow piles to increase your movement, but it's still kind of awkward on those rocks. So when you back up from point, or like you're just kind of doing a passive holds, was kind of reviewing this map myself, and it seemed I don't really like sitting into this dispenser too much. In fact, I would rather like if the dispenser be more passive, because it's just gonna kind of die, and this promotes like, you know, like kind of like product rock, where like if you sit behind here, you're just gonna eat spam and eat shit, and then eventually just kind of have to walk away, which I don't like to see. If you're holding back with the intention to protect your mid from sacks, I like to position myself more as if I was like a mini sentry trying to block points, sort of like playing at the bottom of the slope. Because if you're too far back on concrete, you're just gonna let them take a lot of space. I'd only really do this if I was just looking to get out and nothing else. But if you want to like play passive and still like actively shoot point, I think this probably could be pretty good. If you're too close here, you're gonna get spammed from waterfall and kind of just be a big target to get rushed by people kind of like corner peeking you. So I'm not the biggest fan of this overall. I think maybe kind of like around here or even the left side could be a bit better. Still, the soldier waterfall is kind of my biggest issue, so maybe here it'll look to get out towards bats could be good. And if your med kind of plays here as well. I mean, he's still on a big sight line from bats is my big thing, so maybe kind of like around here. The intention to leave could be good. So maybe you could be closer to here, perhaps. Sort of still in main. And if he gets bombed, maybe he can like play under here, a la like Asheville. Like on Asheville, like your med can like hide into the shutter and then like you can't really get bombed. I'm kind of just thinking like that. If you want like a way to like protect your med from sacks and stuff. But anyway, I think as well, this is kind of just like my playstyle on how I would play Cascade in the past. Like again, like because I don't like lingering here as much. Again, if I could like sneak away, and even if I was defending, could potentially see that like, okay, they're formulating a push, they're getting ready to like slow play it and kind of get into position to cap and bully us out. Like if there's ample people to play on our side and spam them out, and I wanted to engage them in another way, I would also go under like defensively and see if like I can make a play this way to try to get in there and in conjunction with them pushing, maybe catch them off guard or clear under if they want to try for something under. I think that's pretty viable too. It's heavily on timing. But I think you can abuse tunnels in general on this map very easily. If you could ever see yourself going waterfall in anticipation for them as well, that could be another interesting thing. It's a long rotate. I wouldn't recommend it like defending, but definitely trying to engage the point offensively. That could be a really good idea. Let's talk about that more. I think there's some interesting things you can do while you don't have point on this map. Now, I, again, would advise you guys to experiment with other avenues, not just concrete. So, a default for me, I would think, would be, again, like, where can I set up my sniper and where can we, like, start walking to generate momentum? And I think concrete does those two things terribly because I think the sightline's not too good. I think the sniper is probably going to be trying to look for you guys concrete anyway. And I think the strongest positions for sniper is on the bats or cat. So my ideas would be more so to bring heals out left. I myself would maybe go house to have high ground and to check for spies to clear out the flank. If there's a soldier waterfall, you know, our heals left would also do good in giving our blank a buff and dealing with him. But my job at this point, I would think, is to slow play it a little bit. See if I can bodyguard my sniper as much as I can. And see that he's in a good spot to just linger bats and try to get some picks. And once that's happened, I can now seamlessly drop off from bats, push point from the left side or main, immediately start capping, and make my space that way. If I really want to slow play it more, I don't think you can make this without groove. No, I can't use that. But you can if they're still kind of forward on point, again, you can kind of like peek from the bats and start shooting. Either side, really, if you think about it. I think those are two fine avenues to walk across if they're still forward. or even go waterfall yourself if you don't like immediately want to go towards point to slow play it even more. Because you have high grounds, you're in a good position to engage the enemy. You're kind of overlooking your team, and it's just again, it's just more avenues to go from that work for you, you know. Do note though, like the moment that like you're here and you're hard spy checking, the moment like you realize that okay, like now I gotta move up, I can't really babysit my sniper anymore, like your sniper's gonna be vulnerable himself. So I'd actually recommend like a wrangled mini on your sniper while this is happening, and then if your sniper sits in the wrangled mini like this, like he's gonna be a pretty hard kill. And this is a really hard mini to kill in general. Like spam classes from here can't kill this mini effectively. They get zoned out. So similar type of thing. You being there, your mini being there, that sort of thing. But as you can see, you have way more avenues than if you were to go concrete. If you were to go concrete, again, your only option would be to go under or like peek the right side of points. In my mind, I don't think there's much of an option for you there. And okay, like say like they kind of realize you keep going under as well. Like they can already have you putting traps here, have a mini here, stuff like that. Like again, I would just say like you have a pack here, and if you have your buff, see what eyes are getting distracted, and you know something that me and my team tried to do is like if my spy's getting chased to Kingdom Come, like we try to like see like what classes are out of the fight, you know. Like if I have a demo like only putting up stickies for me, like that's spam that my team isn't taking. So that's how I like to think about under. I'll do it a million times over. Eventually it probably won't work, and that's when you kind of have to again try to experiment with other angles. But it works. Not too much else to really think about. Again, a lot of struggles I think can just be averted by utilizing more space. Like this map's huge. There's a lot of dead space that teams don't use. So key things for if you do try to go under, or if you do try to go cave, or all these cool stuff, like try to really hammer out with your soldier and be like, yes, like we need to activate each other. Like you need to be whipping me the entire time. Like if you are here and like your soldier's like missing whips on you all the way through, and you're trying to get to lower, and their combo does the same, their heavy soldier combo does the same, you're gonna lose this fight every time. Like it is what it is. If you just do it by yourself, you're gonna lose that fight every single time. If that soldier, that's another thing too. If their soldier heavy is doing that and they're beating you, consider bringing your pyro with you to reflect the rockets. Consider your engineer. Just think of it like lakeside bathhouse for lower. If like they're stacking it and you're kind of losing that fight, try to stack more people with buffs to try to win that fight effectively. And now if you control lower, again, a la lakeside, that's just another avenue, another area of the map where you have to worry about like, oh shit, like we lost lower, we lost people lower, now we're down numbers, we have to worry about looking here. And yeah, that's the idea with that. I was thinking of running Gru on this map too. Just cause I think again, like if you wanted to make this jump as like another avenue, like if you were to come here spy check for your sniper, and now you want to reposition yourself, yeah, like that you can make with the Gru, and now that's just a more smooth transition to if you want to go waterfall, or the new cat, which I think is pretty good myself, to try to like walk up here, and now you're already kind of like hugging the wall, walking, making your space that way. I don't know if you can make this. I know they changed the rocks, so now like mobility is a bit weird to try to get onto cat. But oh, you could. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So if you get a whip maybe, or if you want to run Gru, like this could be an interesting thing to get up here in forward holds. Just like how a soldier would kind of forward hold this tunnel to just be a nuisance on their side. Hey man, maybe you could do the same. You never know. Even getting up here, if you were a waterfall and like say you push waterfall and you didn't want to just immediately drop down. Hey, like this is something interesting too. Yeah, I think this map is pretty good for heavy, just because again the lower abuse and waterfall abuse was in your favor. Interesting areas to forward holds, and decent head glitches from tunnel and concrete. Speaking of head glitches on tunnel, one tip I can give you as well for under is if you do your rev walk and you're here, and you know you're undetected. I wouldn't immediately try to look over here to try to get the kills main unless there was an explicit damage call that you really want to follow up on, like the meds hurt, etc., etc. If you're kind of just going without a lot of information, I'd like for you to like do it like this. You hug this right wall first, and you kind of like see what's directly above you first. Because if you immediately start just looking here, you might just get shot in the back by people all around this side that you're not really aware of. Where from here you kind of have a little bit of cover. You can get the people like trying to hide on dispenser that may be lit, people that are kind of like hiding and kiting on the point that on this side. So I'd look here to see what I can get, and then that's when I know it's clear. I would look towards main first and foremost, or second most, I guess. Like, cause if you peek for, like this too, like if you do the opposite again, like you're just gonna get shot by the people in the dispenser. Like you want to try to see if you can get the jump on these guys first. And I think this is the best way. You have the cover protecting you on this side, and then you have a nice little head glitch to try to get on them afterwards. So I'd probably do it like that. Like see first if no one's there, and then yeah, get on them like that. And yeah, I think if you're still struggling, I would again just kind of look at how people used to play the map, because again this map's been played for I didn't really play this map a lot in UGC. This was like a RGL staple. So I mean, if you've been playing RGL for a while, you should know like the older version of this map. Like the flow is the exact same. A lot of the concepts are still the same for heavy. So you can just still look at older maps, older VODs, and kind of extrapolate the same stuff from how they played. I think the bats is still the same. Like the geometry of points still the same. Cave is essentially still the same too. So I think the newest toy to play with is this cat as an alternative way to walk up. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you did want to go concrete, but you know that maybe there's people in house. Incoming! You know that maybe your sniper would want to take a different angle. Like work with your sniper a la Asheville, where like you can open the shutter for him and have his back. You can bodyguard him on the ramp. Get your buffs. Go here. You can even kind of look through the windows and say like, oh, where are they holding? How can we go about this push? And now you're kind of just in a way better position than you would be in this small little choke on concrete. Like, or literally you have two viable places where you have like a good high ground here if you wanted to engage. Your sniper should be in a good position. Potential to get to waterfall into the cat. Yeah, I know at the time of recording this, it's match day, and I won't even have enough time to do all the stuff that I'm talking about. But you know, be creative in your play and don't be afraid to mix it up. All right, that's my thoughts on Cascade. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, feel free to hit me up if you got some questions. Peace.